the only 4 exercises you need for 3D shooters. Large and well-developed shoulders are absolutely essential for building that masculine V-shaped physique that everyone desires. When you have wide and strong shoulders, they create a powerful visual illusion that makes even your arms appear larger and your waist look slimmer. And here's an interesting fact. Scientific studies show that shoulders are among the muscles that women value most in the male physique. Well, the fact is that it's practically impossible to have an attractive and aesthetic physique with underdeveloped shoulders. Before we begin, please tell us in the comments your name and the city where you're watching our content from. We'd love to know. Exercise number 1, cable lateral raise. The cable lateral raise is possibly the most underrated yet most effective exercise for developing the wide shoulders we all desire. What makes this exercise particularly valuable is its direct focus on the lateral deltoid, the portion of the shoulder that creates that appearance of width and dimensionality everyone seeks. When we talk about 3D shoulders, we're mainly talking about the balanced development of the 3 portions of the deltoid, but it's the lateral deltoid that creates that visual impact of wide and powerful shoulders. The beauty of the cable lateral raise lies in the constant tension it provides to the lateral deltoid throughout the entire movement. Unlike dumbbells, where resistance varies as the lever arm changes during the movement, the cable maintains uniform tension from beginning to end. This is a concept called constant force vector, which maximizes muscle activation and stimulus for hypertrophy. The cable creates a tension line that runs parallel to the direction of the lateral deltoid muscle fibers, making this exercise absolutely essential and irreplaceable if you want wide shoulders. To perform it correctly, position yourself sideways to the machine with the cable adjusted to waist height or slightly below. Hold the handle with the hand furthest from the machine, maintaining a slight elbow flexion that should remain fixed throughout the entire movement. The secret is to raise the arm laterally until it's parallel to the floor, or slightly above, without ever exceeding shoulder level. During the elevation, keep your wrist neutral, or with the thumb pointing slightly upward, as if pouring water from a cup. This small external rotation helps engage the lateral deltoid fibers more efficiently and reduces stress on the rotator cuff. Regarding training volume, I recommend 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions, with a weight that allows perfect technique. Unlike other larger muscle groups, the deltoids, especially the lateral portion, respond very well to moderate to high repetitions, with emphasis on perfect execution rather than very heavy weights. As an extra tip, after normal repetitions, you can add some partial repetitions in the upper third of the movement, where lateral deltoid activation is maximum, taking the muscle fibers to complete exhaustion. A common error I see many people make is allowing body momentum to assist in the movement, tilting the trunk or using the trapezius to initiate the elevation. You'll know you're doing it right when you feel the isolated burn in the lateral deltoid, without excessive tension in the neck or trapezius. Remember that the eccentric phase of the movement is as important as the ascent. Control the return for 2 to 3 seconds to maximize time under tension and stimulus for hypertrophy. Number 2, reverse fly machine. The reverse fly machine is a fundamental exercise for completing the 3-dimensional development of your shoulders, with special focus on the posterior portion of the deltoid. This is one of the most neglected muscles in conventional training programs and, when underdeveloped, compromises not only the aesthetics of the shoulder as a whole, but also the health and stability of the joint. The importance of the posterior deltoid goes far beyond appearance. It is crucial for the muscle balance that prevents injuries and improves posture. To perform the reverse fly machine correctly, sit facing the chest support of the pec deck or fly machine. Adjust the bench so that your arms are parallel to the floor when holding the handles. The movement consists of opening the arms horizontally, moving them apart in an arc backward, as if trying to bring your shoulder blades together. Throughout the movement, maintain a slight flexion in your elbows to reduce stress on the joints and direct the work to the posterior deltoids. I recommend 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions, always focusing on movement quality and mental connection with the muscle. As the posterior deltoids are predominantly composed of slow-twitch fibers, they respond better to moderate to high volumes of repetitions with adequate time under tension. Especially control the eccentric phase for 2 to 3 seconds to maximize the stimulus. The main errors to avoid are using excessive weight that compromises movement amplitude and allowing the trapezius or rhomboids to dominate the exercise. You should feel the specific work in the posterior part of the shoulders, not primarily in the back. Proper posture is fundamental. Keep your chest up, spine neutral, and avoid leaning forward during the movement. This exercise is safe for most people, but those with previous rotator cuff problems should start with light weights and check if there's no discomfort during execution. The beauty of this movement lies in its ability to effectively isolate the posterior deltoid with minimum risk of injury compared to free movements with dumbbells. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will help you progress with health over the long term in the world of bodybuilding. Number 3. Dumbbell shoulder press. The dumbbell shoulder press is a classic and indispensable exercise that deserves its place among the 4 essential movements for 3D shoulders. This will be the only exercise in the workout directed at the anterior deltoid, and this happens for a strategic reason. We already train this portion a lot in chest-focused movements, such as bench presses and flies, while we don't train the lateral and posterior deltoid as much in other exercises. Therefore, we dedicate 2 specific exercises to the lateral deltoid and only 1 to the anterior, seeking proportional development. The dumbbell press offers a crucial advantage over the barbell version: unilateral work that allows correcting imbalances between the right and left sides. This feature is particularly valuable for shoulders, a complex joint where asymmetries can lead to postural problems and increased risk of injuries. Additionally, the dumbbells allow a natural rotation of the wrists during the movement, significantly reducing stress on the joints. To execute correctly, sit on a bench with a backrest that provides support for the lumbar spine, keeping your feet firmly planted on the floor. Hold the dumbbells at shoulder height, with palms facing forward or slightly facing each other. The movement consists of pressing the dumbbells upward in a straight line or in a slight arc until your arms are almost completely extended. In the final position, the dumbbells should be aligned above the shoulders, not in front of or behind them. I want to make absolutely clear, never do this exercise behind your head. This variation puts the shoulder in an extremely vulnerable position, practically setting yourself up for injury. The behind-the-head position forces excessive external rotation that can compress sensitive structures and drastically increase the risk of impingement syndrome and other rotator cuff injuries. The main errors to avoid include excessively arching the lumbar spine to assist in the movement using leg momentum and allowing the dumbbells to fall too far forward or too far back during the descent. Keep your core contracted throughout the movement to stabilize the spine and better isolate the deltoids. I recommend 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions. For shoulder presses, moderate weight with perfect execution brings better results than excessive weights with compromised form. Remember that the main goal is to stimulate controlled hypertrophy, not simply moving the heaviest weight possible. This exercise is contraindicated for people with recent shoulder injury history without medical clearance. For beginners or those with limited shoulder mobility, start with light weights and partial amplitude, progressing gradually as technique and strength improve. Number 4. Dumbbell lateral raise. The dumbbell lateral raise is an absolute classic in shoulder training, and believe me, classics, no matter how many people do them, give great results. This exercise perfectly complements the cable lateral raise by working the lateral deltoid from a side-poise, different force vector, ensuring the complete development of this crucial portion for wide and impressive shoulders. The combination of these 2 exercises for the lateral deltoid is not redundant, but strategic to maximize muscle growth through varied stimuli. When performing, the recommendation is to focus on less weight and more repetitions with correct movement. An extremely common error is using excessive weights that force the practitioner to cheat the movement, primarily activating the trapezius and losing focus on the lateral deltoid. For ideal execution, stand with your knees slightly flexed and hold dumbbells at your sides with a slight elbow flexion that should be kept constant throughout the entire movement. Emphasize keeping the scapula closed to avoid cheating, and don't move the trunk during the elevation. Stabilization of the scapulae is crucial to direct work exclusively to the lateral deltoids. Imagine that you're trapped between 2 glass plates, and can only move your arms laterally, without any body swing. Raise the dumbbells until your arms are parallel to the ground, keeping your wrists in a neutral position or with a slight external rotation. For training volume, I recommend 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 20 repetitions. The lateral deltoid responds exceptionally well to higher repetitions with moderate loads, prioritizing perfect technique over maximum weight. Practically, this means it's better to do 20 repetitions of lateral raises with 18 pounds than 8 strained ones with 22 or 26 pounds. The main errors to avoid include raising the dumbbells above shoulder level, initiating the movement with body momentum, and not controlling the eccentric phase. Remember that controlled descent is as important as the ascent to maximize muscle stimulus. Now that you know the exercises you need for incredible shoulders, we need to ensure that you don't make the main mistakes many make when training shoulders, which unfortunately, even when doing the correct exercises, sabotage progression. Besides the error of ending up doing an uneven volume due to greater focus on the anterior deltoid, there are 4 other main ones. Error number 1, allowing the trapezius to do most of the work. A common problem is allowing the trapezius muscles to dominate exercises intended for the deltoids, such as in lateral raises. When you start to cheat and the trapezius excessively comes into action, it limits the effective work of the deltoids. The main errors include lifting the weights too high or using excessive weight, causing posture change and trapezius activation. To keep the focus on the deltoids, use weight that you can control without swinging your body or using momentum. The correct feeling is that the arms are moving in isolation, without assistance from other muscle groups. A useful body awareness exercise is to perform a few light sets of lateral raises in front of a mirror, focusing on keeping the trapezius completely relaxed throughout the movement. Avoid raising your arms above shoulder height, and consciously keep your shoulders pressed down during the exercise. Think about creating space between your ears and shoulders while performing any movement for deltoids. This simple mental cue can work wonders to disengage the trapezius and redirect the focus to the target muscles. Error number 2, doing too few repetitions. One of the most common errors that limit the full development of the shoulders is insisting on low repetitions with excessively heavy weights. The shoulder, especially the lateral and posterior deltoid, reacts exceptionally well to more repetitions and prolonged time under tension. Many practitioners remain stuck in the paradigm of using heavy loads in ranges of 6 to 8 repetitions for all muscle groups, without considering the physiological particularities of each muscle. The science of hypertrophy shows us that different muscles have different fiber compositions, and, consequently, respond better to different training protocols. The deltoids, especially the lateral and posterior portions, have a higher proportion of slow-twitch fibers compared to muscles like the pectorals or quadriceps. These fibers are better stimulated through longer sets, with higher repetition volume and adequate time under tension. An effective strategy to implement this concept is to work in the range of 12 to 20 repetitions for isolation exercises like lateral raises and reverse flies, and 8 to 12 repetitions for compound movements like the shoulder press. Also try techniques such as drop sets and partial repetitions at the end of sets to further increase time under tension and metabolic stimulus, factors to which the deltoids seem to respond particularly well. Error number 3, leaving shoulder exercises for the end of the workout. It's common to leave the shoulders for the end of the session, especially in workouts that combine chest, shoulders, and triceps. When shoulders are exercised after other larger and more demanding muscle groups, the accumulated fatigue compromises their ability to be adequately stimulated. Performance in exercises performed at the end of the workout tends to be inferior to those executed at the beginning, when energy and strength are at maximum levels. This approach is particularly problematic when we consider that the deltoids are relatively small muscles that require high quality of contraction and mind-muscle connection to be effectively stimulated. When you reach the shoulder exercises already fatigued from long sets of bench press and other chest variations, your ability to generate specific tension in the deltoids and maintain perfect technique becomes significantly compromised. An effective strategy is to dedicate an exclusive training day for shoulders, allowing them to receive full attention without competing with other muscle groups. Alternatively, if you prefer to maintain the traditional grouping of chest and shoulders, Consider alternating the order. In one session, start with exercises for the chest. In the next, prioritize the shoulders. This simple restructuring of exercise order can make a big difference in shoulder development in the long term. Error number 4. Not training with full range of motion. Many practitioners make the mistake of not executing exercises with full amplitude, especially in overhead movements. By performing partial movements, such as not lowering the weight completely, you fail to stimulate all the muscle fibers of the deltoids. This happens because people prioritize heavy weights that they can't control properly. Full range of motion is fundamental for optimal muscle development, as it allows the complete stretch of the muscle under load and its maximum contraction, two crucial factors for maximizing the hypertrophy stimulus. In the specific case of the deltoids, working with limited amplitude means that certain muscle fibers never receive adequate stimulus, resulting in incomplete and disproportional development. Reducing the weight and focusing on movement quality ensures better muscle stimulus and significantly reduces injury risk. The focus should be on adequate muscle tension, not feeding the ego with excessive weights. A useful practical rule is to select a weight with which you can complete at least 2 to 3 more repetitions than your goal, thus ensuring that each repetition is performed with perfect technique and full amplitude. To implement this concept, consider including some calibration sets with very light weights at the beginning of the workout, focusing exclusively on the sensation of full amplitude and the mind-muscle connection. This practice not only improves your technical execution, but also increases blood flow to the area, preparing the joints for the more intense work that will follow. If you enjoyed this and want to discover the only 6 exercises you need for a titanium chest, we've left a video appearing right now on the screen showing each one of them better. Don't miss it. Thank you for watching until here, and may God bless you, my friend.